All right, let's talk about something I think we've all felt. You know that knot in your stomach right before you have to speak English? That little voice in your head telling you you're not good enough or you're not speaking fast enough. Well, we're going to untangle that knot today. We're going to completely dismantle the myths that cause that feeling and give you a real practical plan for speaking with confidence.
Now, take a look at this quote. What's so powerful here is who it's from. This isn't from a learner. This is from Anne Marie, a native English speaker and a coach with over 25 years of experience. So if even she struggled with this, it just goes to show that what you're feeling is totally normal. And more importantly, it's something you can absolutely overcome.
And that really gets to the heart of it. The real thing holding you back isn't your grammar skills or your vocabulary. Nope. It's the false stories we tell ourselves about what a good speaker is supposed to sound like. So for the next few minutes, we're officially becoming Mythbusters.
Okay, let's tackle the biggest myth right out of the gate. This idea that confidence is just something you're born with. You know, that some people just have it and the rest of us don't.
We all know those extroverted people who seem to think out loud, and it's so easy to assume, wow, they were just born confident. And then if you're more of an introvert, someone who likes to think before you speak, you might think you just can't be that way. But the reality is so much more hopeful. Confidence is not a personality trait, it's a skill. Just like learning an instrument or riding a bike, it's something you can learn, practice, and get better at.
So, how do you start building that skill? Well, you can actually use that tendency to think first as a superpower. First, whenever you can, prepare a little. Just jot down a few key ideas. Say them out loud to yourself. Give your brain that head start. Second, learn to love the pause. A little moment of silence isn't weakness. It's a strategic tool. It gives you a second to breathe and figure out what you're going to say next.
Okay, moving on to myth number 2. And this one is a huge trap for so many English learners. It's this obsession we have with speaking fast. We hear people in movies talking a mile a minute and we think, that's fluency, I need to do that. But that's just not true. Think about it. Have you ever heard a native speaker talk so fast you had no idea what they were saying? Of course, fast doesn't mean clear. The real goal, the only goal, is clear communication.
So, what is true fluency then?
Well, it's a feeling. It's the feeling of being in control. You're not rushing, you're not panicked. The words are flowing smoothly and naturally, in a way that's easy for your listener to understand. The moment you stop chasing speed and start aiming for clarity, you will instantly sound more fluent. And believe me, you'll feel way more confident. And this brings us right back to our secret weapon, the pause. Just think about everything a simple 1-second pause does for you. It lets you take a breath, which literally calms your nervous system. It gives your brain a beat to organize the next thought. And for the person listening to you, it makes you so much easier to understand. It's a total win-win. All right, on to our third and final myth. This is the big one, the one that causes so much fear. What happens when you make a mistake? What happens when your mind goes blank? Here's a myth we really need to crush. The goal is not perfection. Nobody is perfect. Confident speakers forget words. They stumble. They say the wrong things sometimes. The difference isn't that they don't make mistakes. It's that they don't panic when they do. They just have a simple little plan to get right back on track. And to show you exactly what I mean, let's go back to that expert English coach from the beginning, because she has a perfect and very human story about this. Can you believe it? Here she is, an expert, in the middle of teaching a lesson about keeping progress journals, and the word journal just completely disappears from her brain. Poof, gone. A super simple word, right? Which almost makes it feel worse. That momentary panic, we've all been there. But what she did next is everything. And look how simple her recovery was. First, she didn't freeze. She took a breath, she paused. Second, she just started describing the word she couldn't find. She said something like, that book where you write down your progress. And just by finding another way to say it and moving forward, the word came back to her. So the lesson isn't about avoiding the blank moment, it's about knowing how to recover from it. So we've busted the myths. We know confidence is a skill you can build. We know that clarity beats speed.
And we know that mistakes are just part of the process. So, where do you start? How do you actually do this? This next idea might be the most important one of all. So many of us think we have to wait until we feel confident to start speaking, but it's the complete opposite. You take one small action. That action leads to a little bit of progress. That progress gives you a little bit of motivation, which builds a little bit of confidence. And that confidence makes you want to take another action. See how that works? Confidence is the result of taking action, not the requirement. So let's make this super practical. You don't need some huge, scary plan. You just need one tiny action to get that cycle started. Pick one of these. After this is over, just summarize the main idea out loud. The next time you're driving, talk to yourself in English about what you see. Or send a quick message to a friendly coworker and just ask to practice for 10 minutes. The key is to start small and in a way that feels safe. And that's what it all comes down to. Forget about waiting for that magical day when you suddenly wake up feeling confident. It starts right now with one small step. So I'll leave you with this question. What is the one action you are going to take this week to start building your own confidence cycle?